Hi, everyone. This is Tiffany, your host, owner, and creator of The Mix. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to The Mix. And let me just hop right into it. As you can see, Steph Curry pens an open letter opposing of the multifamily housing development behind his home. I'm sure the Currys are not the only one who spoke out in their community against, or I'm not going to say against, I'm quite sure they are not the only ones who spoke out in regards to this. So I'm pretty sure that the Currys are just the most, probably the most popular homeowner, mansion owner in the area. So somebody felt the need to share this, and I don't know if the Currys released it or not, but they penned the letter to the city council in the area. When developments happen in any area that you're in, it goes through the city councils and it's open to the public. It's always open to the public. So you guys, just a suggestion, anytime they have these announcements, these developments, you can attend. You can attend. Your taxpayers, even if you're not a property owner, you still pay taxes, you still participate in elections and all of that. Even if you don't, you pay taxes in some way, shape, or form, even if it's not property tax. So your voice and your voice matters, your thoughts matter. So get involved in whatever local community type of developments or organizations or just topics that are brought to the public because you're in that area, so you do have rights. So, but yeah, back to the Currys. Back to the Currys. So, let's start here first. Let's start here first. According to Google, what does Google say about fair housing, the Fair Housing Act? Okay. According to Google, it says Fair Employment and Housing Act, which includes the California Fair Housing Law, is the primary state law banning discrimination in the housing accommodations because of race, color, religion, sex, marital status, national origin, ancestry, disability, and family status. So this is the FHA. This is regulations, rules, guidelines, law um, governing fair housing, affordable act. You might hear those type of terms in the media when it comes to real estate development, when it comes to home ownership, when it comes to housing, rental properties, and things of that nature. So we're going to stick with that. There is a law. There is a law to follow. So um, let me dive into this article. The article is from nationsnewsnow.com. And I'm just going to read an excerpt from that was pinned onto the site. And it's a letter from the Curry. So I'm just going to read an excerpt of it. It states this letter is from the Currys, apparently. And it states, we hesitate to add to the not in our backyard rhetoric, but we wanted to send a note before today's meeting. Safety and privacy for us and our kids continue to be our top priority and one of the biggest reasons we chose Atherton as home. And this is the letter from the Currys again, and this letter read in part. And also, the article further cites that in California, the law requires all cities to offer more affordable housing. As a result, zoning for a higher density project is being considered at a special city council meeting. So everyone is put on notice too when these type of meetings and changes happens in your community. So pay attention through your local news, through the library, um, or go to city hall, your township. Trust me, they post this. It's public information. It's everywhere. They don't hide it. They don't hide it. They let it be known. But the thing is that people sometimes are too busy with life and just don't really pay attention or don't get involved or don't have the time. So yeah, there you have it. Also, it also cites that. What else did it cite in this article? Okay, the letter. from the Currys. We ask that the town commits to investing in a considerably taller fencing and landscaping to block sight lines onto our family's property, the letter read. Wow. This sounds like they trying to build a Trump wall for their property. And I'm saying this jokingly, but wow. I mean, the creative language, the terms, the words, okay. Um, the letter further states, well, this is Levine, I guess this is the city council guy. He stated that this said a pretty reasonable thing like, we are concerned about privacy. He's just basically quoting what the letter stated. And it's a reasonable, and it is reasonable. Levine further states that it is reasonable for the most famous basketball player on earth to care about his privacy. So yeah. So yeah, there you have it. There you have it. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you believe the Curry's concerns are actually legit and valid, especially as a high paying property owner, taxpayer? And I guess that doesn't matter regardless. You pay taxes, high property taxes, low property taxes, whatever the case may be. I mean, he are his concerns valid or legit? Are they? Are they? Is it fair to say? Or another question too to pose: do you believe he is probably borderline being discriminatory with his words? Maybe not intentionally, um, especially according to what the FHA, the Fair Housing Act states involving fair housing in California. Let's go over that again. Fair Fair Employment and Housing Act, which includes the California's fair housing. Ew, fair housing. I'm sorry. Is it prevents the banning of and discrimination in housing accommodations because of race, color, religion, sex, marital status, national origin, ancestry, disability, and family status. So, yeah, do you believe the creative words, and I don't know what the full letter stated, but I'm sure it's probably was other things of concerns as well. Probably so. I don't have the actual authentic letter to review. And also, I'm sure the Currys are not the only um, mansion owners who has an issue with this, but they are the most popular ones, so it's being put out there. And yeah, so how do you stand on this? Where do you stand? Excuse me, not how do you stand, but where do you stand on this? And also, to my understanding, they're building in that area. These are going to be townhomes. So the development is for townhomes, affordable townhomes. And will there that bring a different group of uh, people or individuals into the community? I'm absolutely sure it will. It will, but hey, I want to say this too about the Currys. I believe, and this is just my opinion, and it's to my understanding too. I think the Currys grew up, and I'm not speaking about his wife. I don't know how she grew up, but I believe Steph Curry and his entire family, siblings and stuff, they grew up because his dad was in the NBA, so they grew up in a wealthy environment or a high class environment all of his life. He was pretty much born into that. So, as for me, I kind of had the best of both worlds. So I'm not saying I live in a high class area or whatever, but I I'm a city girl, born city girl, and then and not the city girl with the JT and the Carisha, not that type. Oh no, but I'm a city type of girl. Grew up in the city, and then I relocated to the suburbs. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds, quote unquote, if you want to say it that way. But I know how to adapt, and I can live amongst pretty much anyone. Not saying just not stating that I could live amongst chaotic, just things just being just incredibly, incredibly chaotic. But I could. So that goes back to Steph Curry. perhaps he just his concerns too is beyond, is being colored with what he's stating. He's saying stating a lot to me, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion without saying much, because of how he's phrasing his words in this open letter. But perhaps his concerns are legit, are valid, because he doesn't know how to um, perhaps live amongst certain cultures, certain economic status type of people, incredibly less than what he's accustomed to, and that's just the human nature sometimes in people. Is it right? Absolutely not. But I mean, we are human, and no one is perfect. So hey, but like I said, as opposed to me, I grew up with both. Um, young as a young kid, teenager, and then as a young adult into my adulthood. Not stating that I live in, like I said, a high class area, but I would say in my area, my race is not the most dominant, and I am surrounded around a lot of uh, um, decent properties, decent properties. So, and it's a decent area. But yeah, so again, perhaps he's thinking about, like, with his kids, they just haven't probably he haven't probably was exposed or experienced that, and he has legit concerns. As an adult, I believe we can um, tolerate, and it's just my opinion, certain things more than our kids. So, but yeah, that's just something to think about too. I'm just trying to put a span to it, and I don't. It's not like that I know anything. I don't know the Currys personally or anything like that. But I'm just speaking from just hypothetical at this point, and but also, I was wondering too. The letter may have sound. The letter sounds like, in my opinion, it could have been influenced by his spouse, his wife. So, because it's not giving alpha male energy. Because the last thing I would think, and I'm not an alpha male type of female or whatever, the last thing I would think is that my man or my husband would write an open letter having concerns or whatever. My thing is that usually I would think the man would be like, hey, we don't have anything to worry about. Let's see how things go, play this by ear. And then, but my home is my castle. So you don't have anything to worry about. We're going to keep our privacy, this and that. I'm going to put some controls in place, this and that. And, if you get my understanding, people, if you get my understanding, my home is my castle. So usually the man will do what he have to do to protect his castle. So if you get what I'm saying, because I'm not saying it, but you get what I'm saying without saying it. Nevertheless, so I'm wondering if his wife was a huge influence into writing this letter. And yeah, so there you have it. There you have it. There you have it. So let's get the conversation going down in the comments section. Um, this is very interesting. Do you believe the Currys are being, like I said, borderline sort of discriminatory, according to what the FHA states about fair housing in the state of California? I don't know if the city council people are going to definitely take his concerns into consideration, and whomever else in the community. I'm sure they will, though, because these are tax property tax owner payers, and they're paying a significant amount of property taxes. Also, I wanted to make this point. I did read something, or I was listening to something, and it stated, um, someone said, like, yeah, these celebrities, and they do this, that, or these people with higher income status. Yes, they're always donating, and not only donating, they, they have these giveaways, and they do community outreach and so that. But it's like, okay, yeah, I'll help you. I'll help this area. I'll help this organization, but I don't want to live amongst them. I don't want to live amongst them. So do you think also is that the case here? And I'm going to say this my last point, and this is just my opinion. And again, this is my reaction and commentary to this topic because it's all over in the news, and this is just my opinion. But I'm going to make this point to this last my opinion about this. I know, I don't know, but the Currys, they've always kind of seem a bit um, disingenuous when it comes to certain, I guess, philanthropy work. Like it's self-serving for themselves. That's just my opinion. That's the energy I got or I get from them. Like I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not judging, but it's just the energy I give that it's not genuine. Are their hearts truly in it? Or they're just doing it because it just feels good? Or are you really passionate about this? Or do you really want to see some type of change? Because this right here would be an opportunity, a great opportunity, to say, hey, we welcome, we welcome this. Yeah, he's at a higher, significant higher income status. We welcome this. It should be safety. Even the safety concerns should also be with someone else moving in a 10,000 square feet mansion. Because just because you have the economic status and the square footage and the acres of land doesn't make you doesn't make you a non-threat to someone like me. Like like where I'm at, I have concerns. I don't care. Yeah, it's a upgrade from where I grew up. It's a different lifestyle for my children, but I still have concerns. I don't care what your economic status is. I don't care what your culture is. I still have concerns. And I look out, and if I have new neighbors, and lately I definitely I keep my head on a swivel, pay attention. So regardless of your economic status, I'm going to always have a concern. I'm going to have a concern even with Steph Curry. If I move into that area, yeah, just because you don't know people, just because they have money, it's just a mask. It's just a mask. So this would have been a perfect opportunity for the letter to basically welcome this idea, welcome. And they probably, the city council people probably, they're probably like, yeah, I get the legit concerns, but I'm quite sure they're surprised because that's not who he portrayed to be in the media. It's not. It's not. It's not who he portrayed to be in the media. Him or his wife. Like I said, I, I don't know for a fact, but their activism to me is kind of questionable. Their philanthropy work is kind of questionable. Is it just self-serving, surface to look good, image, aesthetics, optics? You know, like I said, he appears to be a great family man. I I um, I love his basketball skills and his tenacity and his competitiveness. I like his spirit in terms of his profession. He seems like he comes from that era of competitiveness. So that's what I like about him. That's what I enjoy, although I don't like partake in watching basketball like how I used to. It's just the whole atmosphere, culture is different. NBA culture is different than the era in comparison to the era I grew up under. But yeah, nevertheless, so this would have been a great opportunity for Steph Curry to welcome these affordable housing in the area instead of painting the language as concerning and privacy and safety and all of that. So what are you trying to say, Mr. Curry? What are you trying to say? So I wouldn't say that he's opposed of it. In my opinion, the letter, the concerns, they're reasonable, but I'm just surprised that they came from him because of the image that he portrays in public, you know, um, being this helpful type of guy and welcoming and having a genuine heart and caring about this kid or this person or that person and families. And even I think, I don't know for a fact, but I think his wife did something. I think when this was around a pandemic, was it with milk or something? Or maybe that was someone else. But, just, not to just do things for show. or just do things because, oh, this is just how I'm feeling at the moment, or to satisfy your own feelings. You know, is your heart in it? Where's your passion? Like how his passion is for sport NBA. Like I said, this, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I wouldn't say again that he's opposed of it, but the words in his letter from the excerpt that I read, it seems suspect. Like, what are you really trying to say? What are you saying without saying it? Just be real. Be real. This would have been an opportunity to flip it, to welcome it. I mean, like I said, anyone should have concerns. I don't care where you're at. If I'm living in a community with $1 million homes, multi-million dollar homes, I still have a concern about safety. Like, come on now. Come on now. Whether it be from the property owners to the visitors. Like, come on now. So, I would like to know, or would like to see the entire letter. Maybe there's some parts missing. Again, this is an excerpt from newsnationnow.com. You go to their website and read what they posted or whatever. And again, I believe there are other people in the area that has concerns as well uh, about the affordable townhomes being built, and these are just simply townhomes. So other mansion owners, and it's funny because he tried to separate himself, or him and his wife, from the rhetoric of not in my backyard. I don't know where that phrase came from. I don't know. Is that something that um, goes on across the United States when people are either against or have concerns uh, about community developments? Maybe that's that type of a popular coin, phrase anyway. And perhaps other property owners, mansion owners in the Curry's area are using that. And so it was just funny that he tried to separate himself from that. But still, however, said what he had to say. Yeah, come on now. How can you? How can you? So let's get the discussion going, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Do you believe he has a legit concern? Would you have a legit concern? Depending on your area, like I said, you heard it from me. I would have a concern if I stayed in $1 million community. I don't care. Everybody suspect. You just can't trust everybody. People are not in their right minds these days. It's a lot of things going on, and I'm not saying that from a perspective whereas I'm downing people, because you just have to just be vigilant, observe it, and keep your head on a swivel. That's all I'm saying. Because people have their moments. You just never know. You just never know. So whether it be just because he live amongst these multimillionaires in these multimillionaire properties, so you're saying that since affordable housing is coming into the community, there's going to be a safety concern. Was this safety concern before that? Was it privacy concern before that? You need to be worried about them other neighbors. Other neighbors, you never know. You just never know. You just never know. So let's get the conversation going. Let me know your thoughts on this topic. Again, I do not believe that they are opposing. I think that's a reach, especially what's going on in the media with how they're penning the story. I just think they have concerns and they have requests, and which are reasonable, but at the same time, I'm disappointed. I thought the Currys would welcome something like this with open arms. So let's get the conversation going down in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Like, share, and subscribe to The Mix. I am Tiffany, your host, owner, and creator of this channel. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to The Mix, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.